Welcome back to another video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at constants in Go programming language. So if you have already know the concept of variables and constants, you know that variables are those variables that can change their value uh, whenever the program runs, or in couple of lines that change the outcome of a variable. But a constant is a value that remains unchanged throughout that program. So the way we declare a constant is const, use the keyword const and then the name of the variable, and then we will assign the value. So 311415. So we have assigned a constant, and this is going just let's print it out. So we can see that the value of our constant is printing out. So if we go ahead and change our value of the constant to 1.2 and run it again, now we are going to get an error that we cannot assign a new value to a constant. So that means that uh, a constant is a constant that cannot be changed. So this is a very similar, very easy concept to understand. Another thing that you might notice over here is that we didn't specify a data type of this variable. That means that if as you can see, we assigned a float value to a variable and it accepted that because we didn't specified the data type that it must have. So if you want to restrict a constant and you want to keep a data type like int for a variable, now if we run this code, we are going to get an error like that says that we cannot assign a float value to a integer value. So if we go ahead and remove the float value and just keep the integer, we can see that now it works. So this is a pretty similar concept of constants in Go, like any other programming language. But what's new about constants in Go programming language is the implementation of Iota and constant expressions. So that expands the overall context of constants in Go programming language. So we are going to take a look at what does that mean in Go and how we can use that. So the concept of iota or constant expressions is like, if we are going to take a look at if in this way, if we declare a variable on the package level of a constant data type and run this program, it is going to work the same because now the constant value is assigned at a package level, so it will be available for all the it will be available throughout the package. But if you take a look at this import block, we can see that it allows us to import multiple packages without using the import keyword again and again. So same is with the constant block. So what we can do over here is we can create a constant block and then assign values over here, like c is equal to 3. Now this is a legitimate operation in Go, and we can create multiple constant blocks where we can assign different constant values in those blocks, and they will all work together. So another concept of constants in over here is iota. So iota is a variable that allows us to have a unique value for number of constants that are in a constant block. So if we run this program, for example, and see the output of a let me mention a and c, we can see that the value of a will be a 0 and c is the 3 that we assigned. So iota does is it increments the value by 1 starting from the 0. And if we go ahead and created an other variable b and assign it to iota and just print out b as well, and you can see that it will do 0 1. That means that it increments itself by 1 every time we assign iota to another variable. So now using these variables, using iota and constant variables, we can manipulate the value by using constant expressions. So if we do iota plus 6, and this is a constant expression, so what that does is first time iota will be called, it will have a value of 0 and we add 6 to that value. So that means then a new value of constant a will be 6. And for b, it iota is, because iota is 0 and it incremented from 0 to 1, so for b it will be 1. So just to verify the output, we can see over here that our first constant expression worked out and it added 6 to 0, and the next time iota was called, its value is 3. So what happens if we remove the is equal to or the assignment of another constant variable and just type the constant in the constant block? So let's run and find out. And over here you can see that if we don't assign a value to a constant in a constant block, and we have mentioned iota in the above constant variables, so what it does is automatically assigns the constant the value of iota. So that is pretty helpful when you are using multiple constants throughout your program in order to perform some action. So that's how iota and constant blocks work. So what happens if we create a new constant block and also initiate it with iota? So e, f, and g. So let's print those one out. E and g. And let's run that, and now you can see that the value of iota resets when when we use iota in another constant block. So if you have multiple constant blocks, you can use iota multiple times, and all of those constant variables will have different values. So that is pretty helpful when you are dealing with multiple families of constant throughout your program. So that really helps you getting the constant work throughout the program without initializing constants every time in the program. So that's it for this video, and do subscribe and comment down below if you have any questions. And thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.